I don't know. He's a responsive dog, so I just kept like licking and licking and sucking and sucking and licking and licking.
Yes, the dog.
He was dead. I didn't know. I thought he was just goofing off.
Yeah, I mean, if you're down there for that long and nothing's happening, the dog's probably
No,
dead.
he was I didn't have. That's the.
You knew he
It's
was.
the Kevin Pollak Chat Show. I am your guest host. I'm Neil Patrick Harris. Thank you for joining us at an ungodly hour for a comedian, about 8 a.m. on a theater on the west side. There's a lovely bar here, and there's a lot of seats, dressed as seats. And the name of this theater, forgive me, I just stepped off an airplane, folks, is...
West Side Comedy Theater.
I knew that. West Side Comedy Theater. Kevin Pollak cannot host this particular episode. Of all the episodes to land Mick Taylor from the Stones, who doesn't do any interviews, Kevin decides to tap out Mr. Fancy Pants because he's doing a cruise ship with Weezer, some stand-up on he's doing a boat act. He's a glass-bottom boat act. He's not. In fact, he's one of the most talented men I've ever met in my life, my friend Kevin Pollak. And when I sat at this table with Kevin Pollak, we talked about things that if you were new to the Kevin Pollak Chat Show, you may have thought, these guys are on acid. They're talking about time travel, and they're dissecting George Carlin's words as if, he's Shakespeare, which he is. So Kevin, thank you very much for letting me guest host the Kevin Pollak Chat Show. And the YouTube channel is really great, and I listened on my airplane rides. I went on the fly, what's Attell say? I went on the fly. Yeah. And I listened to a whole bunch of episodes, Pete Holmes, Tom Hanks, my own, again, because, it's my favorite topic. And subscribe to the YouTube channel for the Kevin Pollak Chat Show. I've made it so there's no live reads today because I sponsor this myself today. Jay Mohr. JayMohr.com is my website, and there's stuff there that you may or may want or may not want to take part in, but I'm not going to promote that. You just did. I know, it's like on the side though. When you point it out, they notice. All right. So I'll tell you this, Kevin Pollak, a man of the people and a dear friend. So for me to sit at this table with one of my dear friends, man of the people, Joe DeRosa, now this is when the cameras stop being here and there's some camera that's gonna pick up my buddy Joey Rose's.
It's right there.
That's yours?
That's mine, baby.
Hey, that's like every like old school actor like doing a scene or a multi-camera.
Right.
Like Robert Goulet, and he goes, "Now which camera is mine?"
Right. Yeah. As if you're going to address it directly.
Because that's where they need the cue cards.
Yeah, exactly.
For fucking summer wind lyrics. The autumn wind, the font's too small. You're like, buddy, it's this high. It's a card per word. Joe DeRosa, you and I have been friends about 20 years, and we've done a lot of odd gigs together. We've taken trains, planes, automobiles.
We have.
Donut shops, laundromats,
Yeah.
and I would say when we talk just on the phone, it's never less than an hour.
No,
Ever.
it was great today. In fact, I was supposed to meet you before this today to go a little clothes shopping over at the Nordstrom, and we didn't get to do it because we talked on the phone.
Not sponsored. Go on.
No, not sponsored. But we talked on the phone too long, and so I got out of the house late, and then we didn't get to do it.
That was by design because I didn't want you going to a mall to go clothes shopping.
I want to go to Nordstrom and look at the jeans.
But I want to go with you so I can help you try them on.
Well, maybe we go after.
Okay.
I'm going to look after. Something just came out of your mouth.
Kevin Pollak Chat Show, they're always very kind, and there's pizza, and there's soft drinks and stuff, and there's like booze if that's your bag. Joe's hammered. Philly guys, put him and Dom Irera in a room. You just see who falls down first. It'll be Joe, because Dom don't go down for nobody. So yeah, I had a big slice of pizza. Actually, two. I folded them over like Jersey style.
You did a thing I've never seen another human being do. You picked cheese off of other slices and added them to your slice.
You know why?
Because you're an animal.
I am an animal, and I eat more than anybody knows.
I love how much you eat.
But in LA, I think you call them pussy slices.
Yeah.
Like, this is our pizza marguerite. There's like a splotch of cheese. There's there's like a water hazard in front of the green here. Then there's the sand trap. It's like, yeah. Or I could just make a fucking cheesy pizza.
Yeah.
And eat the thing.
Yeah, I love how much you love food. Do you remember that time I opened for you at a casino, and we went down to that diner. It was the only thing open in the casino was that diner at like 2 a.m. and we went down and we got prime rib.
Yeah.
And I remember you took, and I mean, it's diner prime rib. We're not at fucking,
Comes from the cow, baby.
Right, exactly. But that's just what I loved about you. There was nothing snotty like, we're not at a steakhouse, we're at a diner. You took the first bite, you went like this, you went, oh, like that. And you moaned so legitimately with like joy. And I was like, I love that, man. I'm the same way.
Jeff T, a comedian in Boston, said we were at this barbecue place, and I said, how do you like your food? He goes, he's a brother, he goes, you never have to ask a black guy if he likes his food. He goes, and you should know this because you do it. Anytime a black guy tells you you're anything cool black, you're like, what is it? He goes, if they like food, a black person likes food, the minute they bite it, they make an audible sound. Mm-hmm. No sound,
right.
Don't ask, they don't like it. So like if you're at like grandma's house and there's potato salad and you're just eating quietly, nobody asks.
Right.
But you just take a bite and go, oh. Yeah.
I was on the road once when I was first starting out with Donnell Rawlings, opening for him.
You were opening for Donnell.
Yeah, and we were having a good time, and then we went out and had a few drinks, and we got in this big argument, and it was like, it got real heated, and it was like an argument where it was like, don't fucking talk to me. Like he was saying to me, like, don't fucking talk to me anymore. And then we went and got food because we were both hungry, and it was dead silent. There was nothing. It was so awkward. And then we went to this carving board place in San Francisco. I think it's called Tommy's, and we were eating these sandwiches. The only thing he said to me over the course of a dead silent hour, he just goes, "This ham is fresh."
He had to let it out.
He had to let it out. And then years later, I saw him and told him that, and he was like, we were laughing so hard.
It was in New England. It was the one in Connecticut, the casino you and I were at.
Yes.
And not Mohegan Sun.
The other one.
The one where you could bury a body.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the woods of, like, you didn't know Connecticut had
Foxwoods.
Foxwoods is surrounded by places to dump bodies.
Yeah.
It is miles of woods, impossibly so, right?
It's nothing, yeah.
Now, I don't know if you remember this.
And then you get into the casino, and it's the worst. I mean, there's nothing in that casino. It's the only casino I've ever eaten in a Subway. That's how limited the food options are. That place could be
I had prime rib. I don't know what your deal was.
No. We had prime rib in Jersey.
Oh, yeah. And I got to circle back to Foxwoods because this story that happened there was maybe the hardest I've laughed as a grown-up in my life. It was me, you, Billy Hayes.
Yeah.
La Machine.
Yeah.
Who used to be an actual, maybe not a nice guy working for an organization. Let's say that. But now he's all legit. And there was somebody else with us. It was me, you, Billy Hayes, and Frosty. Yeah. And so I'll bang this out, and they'll go. The one you just said was what?
We got steak at the other one, so this is the only story.
About the steak one, prime rib one. So Joe and I, for years, have had transvestite conversations, and nothing too specific, just. Let's say it's like a gorgeous gal, you meet her, she kisses you, and then like months go by and she goes, I gotta tell you something.
Yeah.
And you and I both are the only two guys out of every guy we know that are like, yeah, I wouldn't care.
Right.
Because she has beautiful boobs, she's pretty, if you're not gonna do it then, when are you gonna do it?
Then you suck that cock.
Yeah. Suck that! So, there was one mutual friend in particular that maybe I thought you had a bit of a crush on.
I 100% did.
Can we say her name?
Absolutely, she's a friend.
Beauty, Bailey J.
Yeah, I absolutely had a huge crush on her.
She's kind, she's adorable, and by the way, she has a 7-inch cock on her. So the fact that you're just saying she, how do you know that, JJ? Let's just say I had my tonsils out as a kid. No, I'm kidding. Unless I'm not, you tell me.
Yeah.
At Jay Mohr 37, your Twitter is something.
Joe DeRosa comedy.
Or Joe DeRosa comedy. So I'm going, Joe, if you just found out, because when I got with, when I first married Nick, she goes, if I had a dick, would you let me fuck you? And I said, working blue on the Kevin Pollak show. And I said, so you're not like a transvestite, like you're you, and then tomorrow you wake up and it's like, whoa, what happened here? And she goes, yeah, and I go, yeah,
Right.
like a no-brainer.
Right.
I go with the big boobs, and she's a beauty, and like that. If not, then when?
Right. Exactly.
So Bailey J, not a gal that woke up by surprise, like, born a guy, like played PE and had to change with the boys into those sweaty shorts.
yeah, and then
Which, so that's probably hot into its own right. And then, but she's actually like a sweet beauty, and she's like she came to Gotham when we were there, comedy club.
yes,
And she's just the kindest, sweet person.
and she's beautiful.
Go on.
She's smoking hot.
Go on, take it up a notch, man.
Huge boobs. Huge boobs.
I didn't notice, bro. I'm busy with the fucking cock stuff.
Yeah, no, huge cock to match with it. She's got a matching set. It's really nice.
Does she have a YouTube channel?
I don't know. But she's also married. She's got a really wonderful husband.
Well, yeah. Well, we don't want to break up that whole union.
So,
Mom, Dad, this is my friend Jeff. He's gonna change his name in a month.
but we're in the bathroom at Foxwoods.
Well, the lead up is I'm going, you wouldn't admit that you would let her have sex with you, like anal sex.
Right.
And you're like, bro, I don't know. Like maybe I'd give her a hand job. And this went on for hours.
Yeah.
It's now 3 a.m.
Right.
and we're just aimlessly wandering because with Billy Hayes, you got to let him walk off the aggression or he'll crack somebody's skull at the elevator. So we just keep walking back and forth. And we walk into the bathroom, and it's like the 50th time I've asked you, and the bathroom door opens at Foxwoods, and you go, yes, I would suck her dick, I'd jerk her off, I'd let her fuck me in my ass, I'd eat her, I would do every fucking thing on earth. I will suck that dick until, and all of a sudden you hear the toilet flush. A black guy, early 40s,
Right.
a G, about 6'2", comes out of the stall with a matching Fila sweatsuit, impeccable,
Right.
Fila shoes, Kangol hat,
Right.
makes eye contact with we're already bent over the sink screaming, laughing.
Right.
And he makes eye contact and he leaves, and then we just roll around like children, laughing. We leave and we realize we're somehow 2 feet from this guy for the rest of the walk in the casino. Billy Hayes goes, this fucking animal didn't even wash his hands. But Billy Hayes' finger is next to the guy's face. But with Billy Hayes, everything's gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay.
Look, Billy Hayes, he's a goddamn hitman. What are you gonna do? Are you going to call Saul, or are you going to call my machine Billy Hayes?
Oh my God, that's
Joe's
really...
stand-up special. We're out of time, Joe. February 3rd, and everybody that watches Kevin Pollak Chat Show, tweet, retweet, Joe DeRosa Comedy. You Let Me Down is the name. First of all, great title.
Thank you.
It's important, the title.
I know. I was very proud of that title.
And you directed it yourself, which I could not let you off the phone about a month or two ago. Like, wait, well, how did you pull it off? It's negotiating. They want somebody else. There's somebody in house.
Right.
How do you get to direct your own? Because we all should.
Dude, it was the hardest I ever had to pitch an idea. And it's probably the only time one of the only times in my life that I've successfully ever pitched an idea. And what I learned was never pitch something you don't believe in. Because it was the only time I found myself in a pitch where I suddenly went, oh, this is what it means when you really believe in something. Because when they were showing resistance, I was like fighting it. I was being like, this is why you have to let me do this. Listen to me. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like I never had any directing experience at all before that.
What was it? What was your experience?
Well, I directed a short film that Bill Burr and Robert Kelly and I did called Cheat, and that was the first thing I ever directed, and that went to the Tribeca Film Festival.
Was the book first?
No, book was second.
You did a short film, parlayed it into a book.
Yes. Yeah, we got a book deal, and they said, this is funny, write a funny book about cheating, so we did. So then, and then I directed some commercials for Comedy Central when they were doing the House of Blues comedy tour, and it was called House of Comedy.
How do you...
Those were with Bill as well.
How do you get... Because I would love to direct like music, something where you're not... Like, a movie like, hey, my toilet's clogged, so somebody's gonna get in a golf cart knocking the director's trailer like, hey, you know,
right.
Hugh Grant's toilet is... It's like, I don't give a shit.
Right, yeah.
I'm looking at costumes now.
Yeah.
So, but like a music video or a commercial, I think would be in my wheelhouse. But how did you know you knew how to do it?
I didn't. I wanted to do it, and when I directed Cheat, because it was sort of the same thing with Cheat, Bobby and Bill were like, dude, we've put money into this movie.
You know what, dude?
Dude, we put money in Bing Bang
You directed, Bobby Kelly. You directed, dude. You know what? We'll probably save 20 grand in hiring a guy and just get a nice cup of coffee.
Yeah, and Bill was like, I don't know if you're ready to do it, you know? So
Hey, when do you let Joe direct it, okay? Okay? Joe DeRosa, director, okay?
So they put they had, I didn't have money at the time, and they were putting in the funding, or a lot of the funding, and then Lou Wallach was also a producer.
Bobby and Bill.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me you at one time recently, Bobby Kelly had more income than you.
Yeah, he probably still does.
From what? Trips
From
to Brazil?
stand-up.
Oh, okay, but you're. That wasn't a knock on Bobby. I just know how hard you work, and you're in writers' rooms.
Oh yeah, I'm not. No. I'm not saying I'm broke. I'm just saying this was. I was 4 or 5 years into comedy at the time.
And by the way, it was a knock on Bobby.
I love Bobby. I don't want to.
You know what, dude?
So anyway, they had put money in with Lou Wallach to make the movie because we were making it ourselves. And I said, I want to direct it. I've always wanted to do this. And it was the same thing. They were like, how, dude? Because we got one shot at this. And if we fuck it up, that's it. And I was like, here's what I want to do. And I walked them through it. And they were like, all right, we're convinced, do it. So that's what I had to do with Comedy Central. Like, they were like, how are you going to be in 2 places at once? Because that's physically impossible. And I was like, here's how. Here's how we're going to do it. But I mean, from the
beginning. And then you introduce your double.
Yeah, exactly. Then a twin came out of a door, like the Prestige.
This is Jeff DeRosa.
Right. But it was just, you know, from the very beginning, from the very first meeting of the special, I was before the directing thing was on the table, I was very much like, this is what the set's going to look like, this is what the intro is going to look like, this is what the music will be like. So that helped when you lay out the vision that specifically.
Do you have to, with your representation, negotiate a separate directing fee, or is it worth it to not even take a fee because that's your quality control as a comic? You have the vision, you know exactly how this should go, and you never see a cut where you're like, why all the crowd shots? That person's not even laughing.
Right. No, I gotta do
crowd shots.
There's not one in the whole thing. There's not one in the whole special.
My man. Yeah, they cut for the layman that doesn't do stand-up comedy. You film a special, and then some 2 guys with handheld cameras run up and down the aisles. You're having a great time watching the show, and all of a sudden, right as you're putting your hand on your girlfriend's to make it a real night, some guy rolls up and goes.
Yeah.
And you're like, act normal. And
No.
he's like on a knee in the aisle. It's ridiculous.
I said in the first meeting the first production meeting we had, I said I want the crowd to look like the way the audience looks in the cartoons when they do that gag where they cut to an audience member standing up and yelling at the cartoon and it's just a shadow. And they were like, oh, like Mystery Science Theater? I go, yeah, exactly. That's what I want the crowd to look like. So there are shots in the audience, but they're over the shoulders and from behind audience members. None of them are facing the audience. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these little voyeur shots in the audience, like people, it looks like somebody's sort of sneaking around.
Corey, are you taking notes on this? This is like other level brilliant. Also, I know the narcissism we have. Like, I'm not gonna have some guy from Oxnard laughing when I can go over the shoulder and keep it on me.
Yeah.
Joe's like, yeah, dummy.
Well, that's the thing that's so confusing to me about comedy. Many comedy specials they feel nothing like what a comedy experience feels like.
And they don't feel special at all.
No, because there's a million of them.
There's a few monster headliners that did a special, and I was like, I looked at my watch when they walked off stage, not because time went by so fast. I went, wait, you closed with that? It was like a spot at the Cellar. I'm like, you're at the fucking Apollo. Dress it up.
I think that's a mistake that many, many, many comedians make, is this idea that you have to put special after special after special out ad nauseum, and it's like, it's not, the greatest comedians ever didn't do that. Richard Pryor put out 4 specials in his entire life. Now,
A lot of albums,
sure. I would have liked to have seen more than 4 Pryor specials, but the point is that's what Carlin was every 3 years. You know, it wasn't every single year. It was every 3 years. I remember, do you know Jordan Rubin?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so he was friends with, I guess it was Mike D from the Beastie Boys, and I remember Jordan said, he was telling me about what their approach was, and it was so fucking smart. He goes, the Beastie Boys do this. They put an album out, it's exactly what you want it to be, they disappear for 5 years, and right when you start going, what happened to the Beastie Boys? They put another album out of exactly what you want it to be. And then they go away again. He's like, that's how you do it, dude. Like these people that are on the cover of everything all the time and constantly on these talk shows and constantly putting out content, it burns out, man. Like I think so. I wouldn't want.
What you said about you don't have to do something all the time. I was talking to Voss last night.
Okay. Is he in town?
I can't say sushi or Tuesday or I'm dodging her, but I refuse to change my punchline.
Want to hear a great Voss joke really quick? Can I jump in?
No.
So we shot my special.
By the way, great Voss joke. Are we in like a weird improv class now?
We shot my special in the Masonic Temple at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, and I was telling Rich that's where we were shooting it.
Hold on. You filmed in a cemetery.
We filmed in a temple.
In case he died.
In it. Folks.
Right? Just so you know, I think the joke sucks too.
My buddy offered me $100 to walk out on stage and say, where'd they dig this crowd up from? And I didn't do it.
Why? That's like Sinatra. Hey, where'd they dig these people up?
But my Voss asked me where it was shooting, and I told him, and he goes, oh good, while you're there, can you visit the grave of my fucking career?
Last night, the Kevin Pollak Chat Show, they'll take questions from celebrities and people in show business that know you.
Uh-huh.
Like Josh Charles wants to know, JJ, who do you think is the best third baseman of all time? Right. And I know he wants me to say Brooks Robinson because he's an Orioles fan, so I go Greg Nettles just to piss him off. And I'm like, wow, I tried to get a hold of Pete Holmes. We wrote for the Pete Holmes Show. And I got way too late on board. So last night I'm at in a hotel in New Orleans after a corporate show going potty. And I'm like, Voss. And he goes, what are you doing, buddy? And he always has like a slur, like, how you doing, Mike? And you're like, all right. I go, where are you coming from? He goes, oh, just another fraudulent part of what I call my fucking career. He goes, I'm at a banana. He goes, I'm at Bananas in like Hatchbrook Heights. It's a pizza place. I go, yeah, but they pay cash. He goes, they pay you cash?
Oh my God.
I'm like, no, I made that up.
Did you ever hear Bob DeBono's impression of Rich Voss?
No.
It's the sickest impression. It's insane. It's like your Colin, where you're like, if I didn't know any better, I would swear it was him.
They go, who says you know any better? This guy's in love with a transvestite named Bailey.
But just
when people name their black labs, you know? Bailey, go get that rabbit, you know? Bailey, let's go and get Harper and Cassius while you're out there.
See what you're doing right now? You're not just doing the voice of Colin, you're saying things Colin would say. And I've seen Kevin Pollak do Albert Brooks and say there's a YouTube video where he's doing Albert Brooks, and then at the end of it he goes, the trippy thing about doing Albert Brooks is I'm making jokes as Albert Brooks that are better than I'd be able to make if I wasn't doing Albert Brooks right now. You know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean.
You said this about Colin once. You said the coolest thing about doing Colin is I start using words that I would never use in real life.
Yeah, of course. You know, it has to have a terpsichorean flow to it. Right? You can't do Colin Quinn and be binary with the jokes.
But I did.
That doesn't mean what you think it is with your Bailey J friend, you know?
We did a live episode of Bobby's podcast once, and Bob DeBono, Bobby wanted Voss to do it with us, and Voss was out of town, and he had Bob DeBono come in as Rich Voss for the entire podcast. And it was the most perfect Voss ad-lib I've ever heard. Everyone was plugging their dates at the end, and Bobby goes, Voss, where are you going to be? And Bob goes, committing suicide. Wow. And I was like, that's literally a Voss line, like, but that Voss has never said, you know what I mean? Like, it was creepy. It was so weird.
I called Voss last night to get a quote or a question for you, and then I'm on the phone for like an hour because I realized he just doesn't want to go home.
Right.
And he goes, why don't you ask him why he has first of all, Voss is obsessed for the viewer, and is his Twitter just Voss?
I don't know.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, if it is, good for him.
I love that fucking man.
Yeah.
He goes, ask him why he has a jellyfish body, and with that posture, how he still pulls all these tail. I go, I think you meant to say, pulls all that tail.
Pulls all, yeah.
Girls, not these tail.
Yeah.
And he goes, look, and he starts yelling. I go, calm down. Look at your windshield. He spits when he talks.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like it bugs hit it.
And he goes, ask him why he has a CD out every fucking 6 months. So you were saying about comics not having, like, you can relax, but the perception of, like, some East Coast comics, my sample size is 1.
Sure.
An insane guy that goes, I can do 1,000 sit-ups in an afternoon.
Right.
He like Pete, and I'm like, you do actually have a lot of CD.
Well, because here's why I stopped doing that. I did that for more than 4 years. It was all I could do. I didn't have any options. Late night shows didn't want to book me. I couldn't get arrested on a TV show. I didn't have any specials. I did a couple half hours for Comedy Central, which was great. But as you know, that's not the same thing. All I could do was go on the road and create material and get better. And so for a 5-year stretch.
You need me to move my truck? Here, need my key? A DWP guy just came in our lovely theater setting. A handsome fellow with a vest, glow in the dark, broad daylight. And I could tell from the energy that it was, I can't do my fucking job because some asshole has got a Range Rover with black rims and a baby seat in the...
Well, tell him the thing you said about how to get out of moving your car. That was off air. Sorry, I forgot.
No, when you get pulled over by a cop, if you got a baby seat, you go, I'm in a custody battle, bro. And they go, been there, bro. But this guy's, he's got to get a truck through the alley.
Right.
So you put out so many CDs, you go, I had nothing else I could do.
That was all I could do at the time. I wasn't writing for TV yet. I couldn't get a part on anything. I was trying, but nothing was happening. And all I could do was try to get better at stand-up. And then once I hit a point where I moved to LA, and I started writing for television and then started actually booking some parts on camera and stuff like that, I stopped doing that. And I was like...
How does recording CDs make you better at stand-up?
Because it gave me a goal point. So at the beginning of each year, I'd say, start working on whatever the new thing is, whatever. And it would take more than that. It would take a year and a half or whatever.
And you have to hone it. So you start with, I'm gonna guess, did you do your CDs to time as if you're doing an hour on television?
I did them as full hours. Yeah. The CDs are
probably
full hours.
Starts with you. I'm going to say you got about an hour 35, and then just each couple weeks go by. There's like 2 minutes gone. 2 minutes. It's like Sophie's Choice, man. It's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Because like on TV, live TV, it's got like Carlin's stuff. It's 55 minutes because then you got to do the Ray Donovan commercials. That's Showtime, but whatever. And there's a big fight coming up next.
Sure.
So you see Carlin specials, when he goes to the stool to get a glass of water, he's looking at a stopwatch, and he'll tell the crowd, stop laughing.
Sure.
I'm not going to get to it.
Yeah.
So it helped you do stand-up because you had to focus on that 1 hour and get it perfect.
Yeah, and it was all I could do. And when I started out, all anybody ever told me was keep writing. Keep writing and throwing it away, keep writing and throwing it away, reworking. So I was like, okay, well, this is a good practice to do that. And then the fourth album, it was 4 albums. The fourth album was all leftover stuff. It was called I called it a B-sides album, like a band would put out. And it was all because I had written and recorded so much and so frequently over those years that tons of stuff never went anywhere, and so I just made an album of that stuff. And that's when I was like, okay, I think I came to this is the end of this part of my life for right now until something special.
When are you on stage after that? How long goes by where you're on stage and you're like 20 minutes I know how it goes. Like it's 20-minute like toboggan run where you're not even sure what's happening, but it's thrilling, and you go, oh, I should have recorded that.
Yeah, it sucks when that happens.
But it would have sparked in you back to the CD stuff and cataloging your material. Now is it just the next step where I'm going to record it, but now it'll be video and I'll direct it?
I guess so. I never thought in a million years I was going to be allowed to direct my own special, but once I did do it, I was kind of like, well, I should do this again the next time I do this. But I don't want to do it. Look, I'm not saying I'm going to have options to do it again in sooner than later. I have no idea, but like I wouldn't want to do another one for 2 or 3 years, at least 2 years. It's too soon.
Says who?
The public,
Comedy Central, the best day of their life, get a fucking 2.2 rating. And it's like, Colin said this to Jimmy Norton, because Jim Norton did his special, Lil Jimmy did his special, and then he's like, then I'm not gonna do that material, I gotta work out my new stuff. And Colin goes, I like how you act all magnanimous, like every human being in the United States saw that special. God forbid you repeat the material.
Oh, no, I agree with that. I
can't believe he's doing it again. I saw it last month one time as I was walking through my kitchen.
I agree with that a lot of comics, myself included, are way too stringent about like this has to be thrown away now. I agree with that. But what I'm saying, when I say the public, what I mean by that is we have a problem, in my opinion, in the entertainment business in our country of oversaturation. You start to hate people for no good reason.
I don't think we have that problem, comics. I think I think the comics that are oversaturated, it's not the comic. Like, people go like, enough with the Amy Schumer or the Aziz. Like, guess what? They're just working hard. A corporate overlord goes, you can go here, put this book there, it's in the airport, so when other comics travel, they're like, this fucking guy again. Then you go on this show. Like, they're just working, and actors do it too. Like Gretchen Mol was on the cover of Vanity Fair before her movie came out.
Well, that's what I'm not referring to just comedians. I'm saying like in entertainment in general. Look,
just say blacks.
Just for an example, there's no reason why any one of us should ever be sitting on our couch and see a trailer for like a Ben Stiller movie. I'm just using him as an example. I'm not saying I hate him. And go, fucking hate this guy. I'm sick of it. People do that though, because after you get, for 5 years, all you see every other week is a commercial for a new Ben Stiller movie.
But why is that?
Because it's too much. Because people don't.
He won't stop fucking making them. To make a profit.
But there is value in letting your brain rest. Let your brain rest.
Springsteen, are you listening? Wrecking Ball? We didn't need that.
Let your brain rest. You're right. Pryor did put out album after album. So did Cosby.
He's fucked up on heroin on these albums.
And they're not that. A lot of them aren't great.
Unintelligible, and the audience is going, "Get your hand out of my pocket."
Yeah, a lot of them aren't that great. The good ones are the ones you can tell that he worked on.
Yeah, and there's you got to let your brain rest. There's some Cosby ones where. To my brother, we both agree. To my brother Russell, whom I slept with, side 2 is that bit.
Right.
And then on the first side, it's frogs are so cool. And you're like, this is fucking idiot. I'm in 5th grade and this sucks.
I met Cheech and Chong and I was talking to them. I did a show with them and I was talking to Cheech after the show about how much of a Carlin fan I am. And I go, in his book, I go, have you read the autobiography? And he goes, no. And I go, there's a thing in that about how you guys shit on him. And you go, nobody's talking about anything anymore. Carlin's got a bit about peas. And I go, the funny thing in the book is, Carlin goes, what do these guys want from me? I like peas. But they were right. I wasn't talking about shit, you know?
That's in Last Words, the posthumous one?
Yeah, it's in Last Words.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's very quick. It's not like, he doesn't dwell on it because he's just like, yeah, they called me out on it. They were kind of right. But
there's a chapter that I wanted to name one of my specials, and I got Kelly Carlin's okay for 2 different Carlin-esque things. Because Joe and I, full disclosure, we go to the altar of Carlin every day, all day. We'll talk for 2 straight hours, dissecting the words, the letters, the shapes, the colors.
Right.
Fuck Tucker. Tucker sucks.
Yeah.
I just realized he surfs when he says Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle.
He slides into the room.
And when he says Tucker, his head gets like this big.
Yeah.
But that'll be a whole 5 hours of us doing that. I don't even remember what we were talking about because I haven't slept.
Well, what I was saying was, and also too, if you go back, again, I love all these people we're talking about, but if you go back to the 70s catalog of Carlin, where he starts putting out stuff too quickly, towards the end of the 70s, when he's knee deep in a coke problem, you can hear the quality drop off. And that's my thing. Any working comic, almost any working comic, is fully capable, sure, of putting an hour of material out every year that is passably funny.
You're being very generous with your comedian friends that we both know.
Passably funny. But you
Rich
have
Voss
to...
doing stand-up at a Klan rally. Look at the black chick checking me out.
But if you were to take that same hour and hone it for another 2 years, suddenly now it's got a lot of it's got a nutsack on it. You know what I mean?
You have patience that I don't have, because if I got that hour and I want to share it, I can wait like another 6 months.
You do have patience though, because you've put out 1 hour special in your whole life.
Because I do it for money, and I got to wait for some corporate overlord scumbag to offer me money to do it and negotiate. I got a manager who's in the middle somehow, like, I got you 50 grand, and I'm like, yeah, I would love to know what the actual phone call was. Like,
Right.
we're gonna give $100,000. Like, all right, I got you 50 grand, buddy. But like, I think if you can do an hour special, let's say every 2 years,
Right.
and it's what you're proud of, I don't think any audience member feels oversaturated. I think they feel happy and sated, because also the material is going to be different. That's why you're excited to do it, and you're going to hit somebody's radar you would not normally have hit, because you've seen my show. You see me do 2.5 hours. So if I'm doing stuff about my son being so dumb he doesn't know to dry his body before putting his pajamas on, and he's like dragging his wet carcass body through Lightning McQueen pajamas, not sponsored, wish. And then there's stuff about like the impressions, my mom's Alzheimer's, my alcoholism and depression, my infertility. Like, there's 3 specials there.
Sure.
Just put a triple album, bro.
But here's the thing, and look, every artist...
You left me hanging on a triple album and I look like a fool.
No, I laughed, but it made me think of an example to what I want to talk about. Like, I have a Zappa tattoo on my arm. Zappa put out more content than any artist I can ever think of. I love the guy. I worship him the way I worship Carlin. The work suffers after a while. It's too much. It's when you don't stop and go, I'm going to go over here now for a few months and let this rest. Because here's the thing, dude, we're comics, right? Most of what comes out of our mouths is funny. It doesn't mean it deserves to be on a CD immediately. Come back to it 2 years later, and if you're still going, that fucking bit is still there, it's still standing, that's when you're like, this is the real thing right now.
You're right.
You know?
I found this to be amazing. I wanted to see if you agree with this. Like, there's bits you did when you were 21 years old, like my bit about algebra and like school and dodgeball and stuff. Dodgeball is kind of like, it's just too hacky at this point. Nobody even knows what it is. But now, if I go do a corporate show, it goes into the clean file, and it's entirely new to me because I haven't said it in 15 years.
Right.
So your old stuff becomes like your brand new stuff,
right.
And you're excited, like,
yeah.
Oh, look how funny this is.
Yeah.
What's 2A plus 2B? Abba? You know, but
right.
That's a truncated version. Your special you directed yourself. I just want to say it again for the fine folks, Kevin Pollak Chat Show audience, February 3rd, and that, of course, You Let Me Down. It's very important. Oh, Words was the Carlin chapter. WERDS, WORDS, WURDS.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm like, in that book you're referring, and I was like, fuck, like, he's a brilliant. And then when the earth shakes us off as fleas, surface nuisance.
I know.
Happy and a lot, I was going to name surface nuisance, and I got Kelly to okay it, George's daughter. And then Nick, my wife, said to me, you know what, for a guy that's been accused of stealing, I don't know if you want a George Carlin line as the title. And I was like, you're right, however, if somebody's going to go, that's this fucking bit from the...
Yeah.
You can't please anybody.
No, you can't.
We can please ourselves.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
No,
some of the time.
That's what we do. Jeff Cesario said to me, there's a compass inside of a comedian that's as true as an actual compass. We're doing the NASCAR awards together. And he did like Russell Brand, he did Dennis Miller, like that's A and Z for comedy.
Right.
And I said, what's the through line? And now he's doing this thing with me. And I said, what's the through line with comics as hosts that's a universal truth, no matter who they are? And he goes, there's a compass inside a comic. Me, you. He's pointing to himself. He goes, Joe DeRosa. No.
I know I didn't say that, but thank you. It got me excited, and then I realized you were lying, and then I was sad.
I won't lie. I'll goof off, but I won't lie to you, buddy. He goes, that compass is as true as an actual compass that'll get you out of the woods, and it's never wrong. He goes, if the joke doesn't work, if the comic goes, it's funny, it's funny, it's funny. The network says no, the studio says no. You do it anyway. The crowd doesn't laugh. We lose our jobs.
Sure.
It was the right call because the comic, when you do like set list show, nobody's laughing because they don't know what the hell's happening. you can only rely on your compass.
Sure.
So you know when your compass is ready to give out another hour of material, and that's why we got the "you let me down."
And in all fairness, even when I said before, like, well, all I could do during that period was just try to get better and put this stuff out because nobody wanted me to do anything else and wouldn't pay me to do anything else. Even then, I look back, I'm really proud of 2 of those albums. One of them is leftover stuff that I thought was just kind of a cool thing to put out. And then there's one of them, on one of the albums, I'm like, eh. So again, even in that time period, it's the same thing. The 2
4 albums, 2 you're proud of.
Yeah.
And this is number 4?
This is 5.
So 3 out of 5, as the Meatloaf song says.
Well, the B-sides I don't count because you can't, are
you proud of it?
Yeah, I think it's a cool thing.
3 out of 5.
But it wasn't good enough to be put out. It was like, hey man, if you're really a fan.
It's not good enough to put out after the fact.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I do, but I don't ascribe to your logic. You're proud of it, so it is good enough to put out.
It was like the box set thing you put out where you go, this is for the fans that give a shit about this kind of stuff.
Right, but my B-side album philosophy is, if you didn't tell me that was a B-side, I would have thought this was the coolest fucking album you guys ever put out.
Oh no,
like
that's
a Nirvana B-side or box set, like Smashing Pumpkin, like here's our B-sides, and you're like, this is great. Why are you couching your bets here?
No. I've done that too with bands. This was not one of those. This was more like, hey, look at this shit I found.
Then why are you proud of it?
Then why am I?
Why am I shouting you?
No, I'm not proud. I'm saying I'm sort of indifferent to it. It was just kind of like a thing that I thought was interesting. 2 out of the first 4, I really love. The first one and the third one, and then this new one I really love.
3 out of 5 is fantastic, sweetie.
Thank you.
No, you're not proud of the ones because they weren't up to snuff. Now, Joe DeRosa in 2017 never would have put them out, or you would have honed it more, because at the time, I don't think you would have released it. Actually, maybe because you want. I'm not making a joke.
Right.
Then I can sell merch after the shows.
Well, that's
then I got cash in my pocket.
That was part of it too. Was having another thing to try to sell or whatever. But it was also it was part of it was having merch to sell. Part of it was staying relevant in some way. Oh, Comedy Central will put out another album. Good. Maybe I can't get on a TV show on Comedy Central, but I can put another album out, and I'm still have that affiliation. It was stuff like that. But like my second album is in my opinion the worst one. And it's because the second half of the album, to me, is where the album starts. And that's, had I waited a little bit, that second half would have been met with a first half that was equally as good.
How many tracks are ish? Around how many tracks?
12, 13.
Yeah. So track 7, track 1. Just switch them, and you love your album.
Yeah, there you go.
The old switcheroo.
Yeah, the old crisscross.
This is what I've noticed about you and our lifetime together as very dear friends. You really short sell yourself. It's not an act. Like a lot of people go, God willing, if people want me around, and they're all full of shit. You, on the other hand, when you go, nobody wanted me, that's an assumption. Like, of course somebody wanted you to do something. Paint their garage, fucking something. It's Carlin. If there's anything I can do, paint my garage.
Yeah. He wants to help, fuck him, put him to work.
But like you go, I didn't want to put out an album or this. I only did that because nobody wanted me. Nobody wanted to hire me to write. Nobody wanted me to act. It's like, no, they didn't know you were alive.
Right.
You didn't get in the room and cause a problem.
Right.
And I think, how do you feel about yourself? It's me and you talking.
Please.
There's no fucking, this ain't like the O&A show where I'm going to smash you with your answer.
Right. Right.
Your value, like you're not ranking, not comparatively. As a comic, where are you? How do you feel you are?
I feel that I've done some good work, and I am just now opening the door to what will eventually become the real meat of this whole thing. I felt like doing this special at the 15-year mark. 15 years isn't a tiny amount of time, but it's also not a ton of time. So doing that special at the 15-year mark, I've kind of felt like was the first opening of the door of like, okay, now the ride is beginning, and now I can really start to work and become really good at this, hopefully.
But you felt that before. We all have. You go, hey, that's the old me. Now I got this going. Like when I discovered impressions, I was a different guy.
Sure.
I had something to close with, like those old switchboard operators from like the 50s. No matter what I plugged in the first 55 minutes, Walken, Tracy, Pacino, Norm. Oh my God, Buddy Hackett, I'm fucking out of here. Like, I always had that row.
Right.
And then I'm where you are too. Like, oh, this is like a Winchester Mystery House. I can open any door here. If there's a brick wall, I just tell the audience, there's a brick wall, we all gotta go back.
Right.
And they just like the honesty.
Right. Well, it's for me, the distinguishing factor for me now that's different from confidence or enthusiasm, I should say, than it was before. I didn't know how to tell myself to shut the fuck up before, and I didn't know how to put myself in my own place before. I had no discipline.
Wait, hold on. Why would you need to tell you, first of all, about telling somebody themselves to shut the fuck up? Mm-hmm. You got a while ago before you reach this level of fucking chatty Cathy that I am. But why would you want to tell yourself to shut the fuck up and get over yourself or whatever it was you said?
Because you have to. Because if you don't, you become a fevered egomaniac, and you start getting high off your own supply, which is terrible.
We're talking about comedy or Coke now?
Coke. Isn't this show about Coke?
Yes.
Okay. Well, can we start doing it?
That's why he's not here. He's doing time.
He was trafficking Coke through his pocket.
Ain't nothing in here but some Chex Mix. Whoa! I don't know how the bottom fell out of my Coke, my Otter Pop box of Coke in my freezer. When you said that, I want you to specify.
Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is I think far too many entertainers believe their own hype and are not able to grow and blossom because of it. It doesn't become about developing the craft and the art anymore. It becomes about staying relevant.
I agree.
And that's a bad place to be, in my opinion.
But it's self-hype.
Well, it's self-hype.
They believe their own hype.
Yeah, exactly.
Not an argument.
No, I know. Yeah,
but you're the guy that hypes. You're under the radar. Like, you're dormant as far as hype.
Yeah.
So for you to be conscious and aware of, I don't want to believe my own hype and get like a big ego. Hold on.
Sure.
You know, in your cellular level,
mm-hmm.
Joe DeRosa, you don't have that in you.
But here's the thing. When I say hype, I don't just mean the people that get praised by the masses or whatever.
Well, that's never going to happen.
Comedians, no, it probably won't. Comedians, particularly, entertainers again in general. I love you too. Entertainers in general, and the only reason I'm barreling through that is not because I think it was funny, is I'm afraid I'm going to forget this and then you're going to ask me again, and then no, please. Entertainers in general have that internal hype going before anybody ever says you're good. I've heard people have said this to me. Joe, my fans are out there, they just don't know it yet. This is how delusional entertainers get. It's sick. So it's like you can't ever go down that road. You gotta be able to say to yourself, dude, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares, it's not that important. Take a breath. And when you have something that you really wanna share with people, you share it. You know what I mean?
This is a brilliant discussion that you're sharing with me, and I'm appreciative because I don't think it's entertainers. I think it's that entertainer that said that, and I think there's another one and another one.
Right.
And I think you and I know more guys. We just did a joke about Voss, like, could you dig up my career in the cemetery?
Yeah.
And like last night he goes, just another fraudulent job.
Yeah.
I think the guys you and I know, like Pete Holmes, we're both very good friends with. Mm-hmm. Pete's not a guy, you can't get Pete to believe, you could drug him and kidnap him, mm-hmm. and after 18 days in the desert of just using his body as a fuck toy, oh, Pete.
You really, as soon as you pictured fucking his drugged body, you got off of it.
Doing a Philip Seymour Hoffman impression. Are you gonna fuck me off? But like, he would never buy into anything like that. You would not. I've been trying to get America to catch up to how great I think I am since I was 12 years old. I'm the opposite. I've been brought to my knees like, we're all right, bro. You're middle class show business.
But you have a good radar. Look, a lot of guys do, and a lot of people do, and a lot of people don't. So I agree. It's not fair to blanket statement and say entertainers. But I would say it is fair to blanket statement in the sense of entertainers are more prone to it than anybody else.
Oh, of course.
Right? But
I got the best plumbing van. Forget it. It
yeah.
It's got my name logo. Looks like the fucking Van Halen logo on the side.
Right.
My last name is Von Heber.
And son.
And then, but I get the big VH, bro. It's nice.
But you've said to me.
I got you.
You've said to me before. You know, I don't want to air your shit out, but like you've said to me before, privately,
you and me, fucking air it out.
Like you talked about how you went from a time when you were doing tons of parts in movies and stuff. I mean, dude, that's how I knew who you were. I knew that about you before I ever knew you as a person. Yeah. But you talked to me before about how there was a period where it was like so concentrated and so crazy and you were doing so many movies, and then there was a time period where it was far less. And you very candidly were just like, you know, dude, like, sometimes you become that guy. I don't know. Maybe I'm that guy. I don't know. I might go back and do more. I might not. But whatever. It is what it is, and you keep moving. The guy that doesn't do tons of movies anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, I haven't done a movie because I had a radio show.
Right.
So what? Seeing Other People, then nothing. Then I did Tales from the Crib, like 2 days on that.
Which Tales from the Crib?
It's the name of the movie is Tales from the Crib. It's the guys that did Tales from the Hood.
So like Tales from the Crib.
Like black horror movie.
Oh, I just read about that. Is it good?
Well, you never know till you see it.
Right.
But it was amazing, and they were great. It should be. It's funny.
Yeah, Tales from the Hood's
so, like that guy. It's interesting to hear you say like, I don't want to air out your stuff, but you confided in me. Hey, maybe I'll go back to being that guy. That guy being a guy that works in movies. I think you'd be like, you know, you're an alcoholic, antidepressant.
Oh, no.
You have to get off Paxil, you couldn't get erections.
No.
Like, so that guy, the guy going back to movies.
No, not meaning that guy, just saying like when you said very candidly to me at a time, you were just like, maybe I'll be doing that again, maybe I won't. Like you were just very like, that's the radar I'm talking about.
Oh,
there was no part of you that was like, hey dude, you know, like here's the thing, I'll fucking do whatever I want, and they'll get it, or they won't. There was no part of you like that.
I don't do stand-up anymore. I'm an actor.
That's what I'm saying. You were like, hey, dude, like this is what's happening now. I'm touring a little bit more. I was touring less then. I'm touring a little more now, and we'll see what the fuck happens.
Was it a positive or a negative?
A huge positive.
I'm taking it as a positive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm saying you're not giving yourself enough credit for having the same radar of going, dude, don't let all this go up to here and whatever. You know, it's just
that dialogue with me doesn't really happen. Corey's been with me since like 19, 20 years old. She produced Last Comic Standing, more sports, and like I'd lay down in front of a train for her daughters, not her. Who's your favorite Muppet?
My favorite Muppet? Yeah. Gonzo.
Gonzo?
Gonzo.
I respect that.
Who's yours?
Rolf.
Really? I like Rolf.
Huggable.
Why'd you ask me that? Just
because I had all these nonsense questions and I wanted to get that one in. The dialogue between my heart and my head, the acrobat, as the U2 song goes, I must be an acrobat to act like this, then talk like that. I don't really have it. I'm aware of my perception of my skill set and where I am. And you and I speaking at this table, Kevin Pollak, chat show, Kevin, anybody here is in the upper 1% of the field. There's only like 12 headlining, if you really want to quantify, white stand-up comics that can go out and do a 1,000 seat room, and that's all we do. Kevin acts, you're directing. I've always had the awareness that there's so much ancillary income, and you can just tilt the table like a carnival game and go, now I got to write a book. They gave me money to write a book.
Right.
And tilt the table and go, I'm going to host a game show. And tilt the table and go, I'll do the movie. Because stand-up's always, it's like the dock. You can take the boat anywhere you want, but you can always circle back. Don't run out of gas. Keep the shit clean. The dock's going to be there. You walk into any room in the country, after 6 months not saying a word, you're going to destroy.
Yeah.
Because it's all you know how to do.
Yeah. Well, look, the other thing I admire about you is you're a very accomplished person. Who has never had the attitude of something being beneath you or something like that. You know what I mean?
But you're also aware of the perception of me, which I have long stopped giving a shit about.
Sure.
Nobody's ambivalent about me.
Right.
And I'm realizing now, you are approaching, or there's a lower level of, not a lot of people ambivalent about Joe DeRosa, and we know the crew we're talking about. It's either like, me, I'll fist fight for you and go to jail with cuffs on, you're being arrested for assault, and I'll go, I know.
Right.
Because I love you and you're my brother.
I would do the same for you. I can't fight, but
I know
in theory I would.
But you know what? I know you'd get your shirt off like an episode of Cops.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, this guy's nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
He's hiding under a baby pool.
Yeah.
With legs sticking out. I'm a pool toy. But no one's ambivalent about me.
Right.
Nobody goes, no, I guess he's okay. It's either like, oh my gosh, or I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah.
So like, I'm talking to Voss last night for like an hour, and I got to steer him away from like, let me tell you something else where I smashed him.
Right.
And that speaks more on Voss.
Right.
Wanting to let me know like his ladder.
Right.
Right. But do you see the perception of yourself through the eyes of others being wildly incorrect?
No.
Well, let me tell you what they say about you.
Yeah, please.
Boss's question for you was, ask him how his West Coast friends are treating him compared to his East Coast friends. And I went, I will, because there's so much parenthetical, and I know you don't know what that means, but there's so much parenthetical in that question that's loaded and shitty that I'll just have Joe have at it.
I have great friends on both coasts, and I consider Rich one of my dear friends.
Me too.
You can't get him to be sincere with a task like that. Rich, give me a question that will be asked in front of. If you said, Rich, 2 other people will hear you ask this question.
I like that you don't want to over or undersell the audience.
Did I?
You had a number. Put it back in the hole. Don't pull the bang, or unless you plan to bang. Well, you're like, I don't plan to bang.
I know there's a wide audience here, and my point is
you're trying to lose weight.
Say there wasn't a wide audience. Say you were like, hey, Rich, the people at home watching through the cameras aren't going to see this. Just these 5 people in the room will hear this question. He is not capable of going, okay, it'll be sincere. You know what I mean? He's got to make it a funny question. To ask one of stupid West Coast friends, so it becomes that. But
I was vibing out like battles on the East Coast, and I'm like, I'm not asking about stupid fucking battles because grown-ups don't have them. I heard there's a beef between, no matter what you say next, wrong. Dude. Because I'm not involved in it, and you're not involved in it. Well, you got caught up in a few, and I got caught up in a few.
Yeah.
And then as an adult, you go,
put them behind us.
It's like, what am I doing?
Put it behind it. I mean, look, it's not a secret. Like Anthony, Kumi, and I had a very public thing on Twitter. We made up.
Okay,
it's all water under the bridge, and it felt. This applies to what you're saying.
Okay. I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it. It's like
no. I'm saying I'm only bringing it up to say.
I'm on Anthony's side.
It applies. Yes. Yeah. When we made up, it was such a healthy thing. And it was so positive that it inspired me to then reach out to people that I didn't have as robust grievances with or whatever, and do the same with them. And just say, I'm sorry for the shit I did wrong, which what I said to Anthony and what I said to a bunch of people. And now, what's great is I meet people or I know people that I know don't fucking like me. I know it. And they're
like how?
And they're really passive aggressive, and they're really shitty.
Corey make a face at the same time as I do. Like, I don't. Is it in the realm of your mind that somebody meets Joe, he says hi, and they go home and they go, fuck that guy. Like it's like. I don't names.
I don't know every person that doesn't like me, but I know people. I have seen people very recently where I'm like, that's the 3rd time I've seen this person in a row, and that's the 3rd time they've made a fucking remark like that. They don't like me.
Give me a remark without saying the name.
Just being passive aggressive, like being like.
Let me tell you something, Joe. The entire world, the number one emotion, that's always fear. Oh yeah. So whatever they're saying to you, they may think you're fantastic, but to get themselves out of that hole because they're terrified they're irrelevant, they take a little shot at you. Somebody makes a face, and they got like it's like whack-a-mole. They go like, I'm here, right, guys?
Well, I believe it's
or
funny.
They're cunts.
It's funny you say that. It's funny. No. It's funny you say that because another philosophy that came out of a lot of it came out of when Anthony and I made amends was us saying to one another, very few people do things because they're evil. We do things because we're motivated by fear or whatever it is.
Fear.
You know? So when I meet a person now that I think doesn't like me or is rude to me or whatever, I don't take it personally anymore. And that was the big step. The big step was, you think this about me, I think you think this about me, I don't think you're correct, But I don't worry about it anymore. It was such a release to do that, because I really used to stew about people.
It's like AA, like you make the fearless moral inventory of yourself,
Right.
make amends to the people you've hurt unless it'll hurt them further. I had that going on with me where I was just we have a social media portion of Kevin Pollak Chat Show. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody's questions that are listening at home. So the thing that I did, because I started becoming like a topic on other podcasts. And it wasn't positive, and I was confounded, like, I'm not that interesting, and you know me well enough, when I say this to you, it's not going to be disgusting. I only want to help and be kind and just spread positivity. So I kept becoming this topic, and then I made a list of comics that I knew, ride with me, end the days as we know it, we're going to meet at Santa Monica High in the 50-yard line, JJ have bottled water and antibiotics, let's go.
Yeah.
So, name comics you know, no matter what happens, I'm going to jail for Joe. Like, I don't give a shit.
Without you, Burr.
Hold on. Okay, because there's a big point to this, and I think comics should do this.
Sure.
Not most of the ones.
Voss, Bonnie.
Hold on. Evelyn Wood here. You know? This guy thinks I'm doing stenography at the Warren Commission.
You know, Keith.
Hold on. Why don't you just keep going there, you know?
Keith Robinson.
Let's do comics we've heard of, you know?
But I mean, and there are definitely more than that. But like, these are that just.
Pete.
Yeah, Pete.
Okay, so let's just use this as a sample size.
Sure.
Comics I know will go to the wall for me, fight for me, take a rap for me, stand up for me no matter what. Jay Mohr, Bill Burr, Rich Voss, Bonnie McFarlane, Pete Holmes. It doesn't fucking matter who's on the other list.
Right.
Look at this.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a murderer's row of good people.
Right. No, you're
So
exactly
take
right.
me off. Give me another guy or gal.
Marina Franklin.
That's it. That's what I did.
Right.
And when I got, it was like, you know, Corolla, George Wallace, Greg Proops. I go, I'm done. That's like 3 names. I'm like, what am I doing? Who gives a shit if these middle acts, these glass bottom boat acts don't like me?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a manatee, everybody. And you know, speaking of manatee, Lipton.
I don't know Corolla or George, except by reputation and their work, but I know Greg a little bit. I really like Greg a lot.
Proops is amazing.
He's a great guy.
Joe, your special is You Let Me Down, February 3rd, Comedy Central. If you're watching this at the DVRs, TV, I don't know what the kids are doing these days, because let's get this guy a big number on Comedy Central because he directed it himself. I know this is true, what was 2 other titles that it was between? Because that's what people don't realize about comics. Whatever the name of that special is, we had one locked in for a year.
Yeah.
And the last week, you go, happy and a lot.
Right.
It was going to be Surface Nuisance. It was going to be Master of None.
Right.
Why am I saying it out loud? Somebody will steal them.
I was going to call it Zero Forward Progress.
I like that.
I liked it too, but then the joke that line came from got taken out, and it didn't feel like it was still pretty applicable as a title. But I was either going to call it Zero Forward Progress or Pigs, Worms, and Rats. And I was like, Pigs, Worms, and Rats is that's really a funny title to me, but it's...
No, it's, you see I'm like, that's like Ann Sexton.
Yeah, I might call...
Rats is star backwards, like Pigs, Stars, and Rats.
I might call...
My first 20 years in Hollywood.
The next one I might still call that, I don't know. But I won't call the next one Zero Forward Progress. I might still use Pigs, Worms, and Rats.
I would have went unforward progress, because Zero's tough. You don't want to be last alphabetically, sweetie.
Well,
Let me tell you how you should do your stuff.
Well, right now I have Y, You Let Me Down. So I'm fucked either way. Son of a bitch. I should have titled it with an A, right?
Nobody gives a fuck about alphabetical. They're going to see Joe DeRosa, and everyone's going to retweet the shit out of it when it comes out.
You never know.
Literally, they're going to remove the feces from your special because it ate too much. I had Happy and a Lot, and holstered was Master of None. The one I already told, Surface Nuisance, Words. There was something else, but my wife, Tom Segura was with me on the road opening for me, and he had an album coming out, and he couldn't get a title. She goes, why don't you call it Thriller 2? And I'm like, game over.
Yeah, I remember that.
The guy's album is Thrilled. I'm like, how the fuck do you not? Thriller 2. Nobody owns it.
I thought it was called Thriller too.
It's called Thrilled, and it's the same album cover. She goes, and it's the same album. He's got a little baby tiger on it.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, it's a funny album
And
cover.
he named it Thrilled.
I thought it was called Thriller too.
Well, I could tell you a third time. Thrilled.
So wait, no, I thought you said Spider.
I'm
it was
all right,
called.
you dizzy prick. Where's my fucking drink?
I want to see if I missed anything before we get to celebrity questions. And of course, we have our Larry King segment on the Kevin Pollak Chat Show. Joe DeRosa on Twitter.
Comedy, Joe DeRosa comedy.
Joe DeRosa comedy. When you realize, like, why are you 37? First 36 were taken. Jay Mohr 37. Joe DeRosa comedy. What? So we don't confuse you with the fuck? No, because some fucking Chinese kid in Chicago buys all of our names, and if you want it, you gotta go fly out there and hand them a $50 bill. To which I say, or I can ring your doorbell and headbutt your face in front of your parents. And I got my name back. Now I don't use it on principle. Why is Three Doors Down so funny?
The band? I think they stink.
We all.
And they're also playing at the Trump inauguration, which I don't give a fuck what you are politically, but that's just like a real nerdy thing to do.
Three Doors Down or Three Dog Night? Who you want to see?
Three Dog Night. And every day, I couldn't name you one Three Dog Night song, but I.
One is the loneliest. No.
100%. Yeah, Three Dog Night.
Gee, that's player.
It's not so much that I know Three Dog Night, because I don't. It's that I know Three Doors Down, and
Well, at
that's
least
what
they
would keep
rock
me
a
to
bit.
go. That would get me to go to the Three Dog Night show.
De La Soul, me, myself, and I, the big three. Let's put that up there.
Yeah.
Well, what's a band with three in the title?
Just bought a De La Soul album yesterday. That's weird.
Really?
Yes.
Not really. With you and me and the time
Yeah.
travel. I love trios in bands the most.
Yeah.
Like Nirvana, sure, but like
Who's your favorite trio band?
James Gang. It's
Okay.
it's Joe Walsh made I fucking hate the Eagles.
Right.
They did these documentaries like, we were the greatest American rock and roll band of all time. No, you were fucking Wilco. You were boring. And then Joe Walsh came in, bam, 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 and you're like, these guys are cool.
Yeah.
Because Joe Walsh
That's so
talks
funny.
like this, man.
That's so funny.
The Police, way up there.
Police are great. My favorite's Rush. They'll be my favorite power trio ever.
Fantastic. 2112, I loved when I smoked a lot of dope, stopped smoking dope, listened to 2112, and I went, it's kind of like math class, not for me.
It is. That's what I always say about Pink Floyd. You hear Pink Floyd high, and you're like, "Oh my God!" And then the next day sober, you're like, "This is fucking boring, man."
But like
This is
One
so
Rabbit
slow."
Run comes on,
Huh?
whatever the name is, like Breathe comes on, and you're like, what the fuck? This is amazing.
Yeah.
Individually, but I don't need to hear a lady screaming "Wah!" over the other songs.
Yeah.
I went, and Amagama, you don't have to put an album out all the time. Amagama.
Wish You Were Here is my favorite Pink Floyd album. While we're on the subject.
One of the best album covers of all time. Guy in the flaming suit.
That's one of them. There's the two. It's got the alternate covers. There's the flaming suit thing, which is amazing, and then there's the one where it's the two robots shaking hands.
I've never seen it in my life.
And it's just a picture of the two hands like this.
I've never seen that in my life because I don't believe in robots.
So cool looking, dude.
I don't believe in robots.
You don't?
No, so if I had seen it, I would have convinced myself it was like a vacuum cleaner.
It's a drawing of a robot. So then anything can be.
Why don't you draw Satan's face and shove it at me? If I want to believe in robots, I'll listen to Radiohead.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Every album sounds like robots fucking.
Fair enough. There's another band where
You
it's
guys
like...
used to play instruments and rock, and now you got Johnny Greenwood, one of the best guitarists in music, playing a Mac
Yeah,
in concert. He's up there on a computer like, oh, this looks amazing.
they're another band, when you're not high, it's like, you know.
The internal hype. You said some real cool stuff, JoJo. I hope you watch this on the YouTube channel. If you could bring any extinct animal back, it's not going anywhere after you bring it back. It's in. Which one would you bring back?
Dinosaur.
That's like saying I would bring back dogs. Well, actually,
I gotta pick a specific dinosaur?
Reggie Watts chose pterodactyl, and I got kind of a boner in my pants because he was explaining the talons on the hood of a Prius in Echo Park, like you just sit in your car, like the sound of that. I would
pick Tyrannosaurus Rex, so there was something above us again. I think
like
we
that.
need to be put in check once in a while, and I think a few Tyrannosaurus Rexes would do that.
I would have I'm with you, yes. And then you'd call me that they're back and teach me how to speak their language and not get killed. And then I would have a Tyrannosaurus Rex boxing league. because of their tiny arms.
Right. That's always
they're
funny.
Dennis Miller, Norm Macdonald sized. Yeah.
That's always funny.
I don't want to go off on a rant here, but I don't know what I would bring back. I kind of dig the saber-toothed tiger just because it's a regular tiger with those giant teeth.
See, a saber-toothed tiger, I like that. But I think you're wasting your...
I know I am.
I think you're wasting your thing. You can. It's just the only
Dodo
difference
bird.
is the teeth. Yeah, there you go. That's
Because I need somebody dumber than me.
okay.
Look, let me tell you something. If you had walk-in music like a WWE wrestler or a boxer, so if Joe DeRosa, if everyone in this room knows Joe, oh shit, that you're coming in because your music started when you hit the corner, what would your song be?
It would literally be. It's a tie between two wrestling songs. Actual wrestling songs.
From like the Vision Quest soundtrack? Or?
No. The first is
Eminence one.
the more obvious one, but I don't care, is the Rock theme. Walking into a room, if you smell! I mean, it would just be the greatest.
Let me just put a pin in this. You could have chosen, something by, the Misfits. You could have
Sure.
some Philly band, Bad Brains, Jane's a Dick. The Stones, Beatles.
Yep.
You're gonna go with Dwayne Johnson.
I get hype over wrestling entrance music. It gets me very excited.
Well, then now we're talking. Now I
Yeah.
like this.
But my favorite one of all time is the New Age Outlaws, who were a tag team during the Attitude Era. Theirs just went, oh, you didn't know? Bow, now, now, now. Then you better ask somebody. Bow, now, now, now.
Are they white guys or black guys?
Two white dudes.
Again, the white man stealing the black man's music.
Yeah. But it was.
Oh, you didn't know? You remember Snoop? Better ask somebody.
They don't sing the songs, Jay. You know that, right? You know the wrestlers aren't singing their own songs. Might have been a black guy singing the song. They were just walking out to it.
But when they're walking, they're moving their mouth. If they didn't really get kicked, why would they fall down? And who puts the presents? Who put the money into my pillow when I lost my tooth? I lost
me.
in a street fight
I've
with
been
Bonnie
doing
McFarlane. Who wins in a fist fight, Bonnie McFarlane or Rich Voss?
Bonnie.
Penn Jillette told me, let me pick that name up, that David Copperfield owns George now, from Otto and George.
No shit.
And he loves Otto and George more than you and I. And he knows all of Otto and George. Ever see a black vagina? Don't it look like a, It's amazing. He knows it by heart. And Penn, for the last 10 years, has been trying to get David Copperfield to get through his thick fucking, I used to be with Claudia Schiffer, thick skull, go to the Beacon Theater. He goes, how many phone calls would it take? Everybody hands their phone in. If you take a photograph or record, you're going to jail or you're thrown in the river by mob guys. To fill the Beacon Theater, see David Copperfield, because he used to be a ventriloquist, with George going, whoop-de-doo, are you Chinese? Get your fucking eyes fixed. I hope your next shit is square. David Copperfield would be the actual hippest man ever, and he won't do it. So how many phone calls do you think it would take to fill the Beacon Theater, David Copperfield doing Otto and George?
Fill it with just, don't even let fans in. Just fill it with industry people.
That was the thing, like it's gonna be the whole, it's half comics. How many phone calls to fill the Beacon Theater is the question.
10.
I had 3.
About 10.
You just go O&A, Howard.
Oh, you mean like oh, I got you. I'm sorry.
Who, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, those I thought you meant like you got to call a person personally. No, okay, 3. If you're saying, look, dude, it might even be 2. If you're calling Howard and then you call Opie's show or Anthony's show.
And they would promote it having nothing, no profit whatsoever. And then people would just be like, we have to go see. But it's David Copperfield owns George.
Right.
Do you think at night George's like, nice hair, father? Because Copperfield, he used to yell at Otto.
Yeah.
Ever notice every time you talk, the show sucks? Half Danish Jew junkie, Ashoga.
Did I ever tell you about the funniest Otto thing I've ever seen in my fucking life?
Well, I'd want to hear it again if you even did.
I might have said it on your podcast when we were both on, which was
Back when it was a podcast.
That's the last time I saw him, which was, I'm so happy that I got to do that with you guys. But he.
Oh, we were in New York.
Yeah, in the hotel.
Doubled up?
Yeah.
No puppet, or excuse me, figure in the business.
He had the crate with the puppet.
Yeah, I said, I don't want you to take it out.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Because your thing is the headliner here.
Go ahead, please.
like when the puppet looks over and goes,
Are you married?
Right.
like the puppet isn't real, so that means that's what you remember I was obsessing over. At some point, Otto has to spot the Asian girl.
Are you Chinese, miss?
It's so creepy how alive the puppet was. I have a picture somewhere of him dismantling the puppet after the show, and it's weird.
I like the puppet taken 1 second after, where the puppet went.
I'm back, you fuck.
So your Otto and George thing. So
He's on stage at Caroline's. There's a guy sitting stage. We're just off stage right. He's got to be 350 pounds. He's just this massive man, and he's wearing a blazer. And Otto is talking to the audience, whatever, and the fucking puppet turns, looks at the guy, and goes, Jesus fucking Christ, what size is that jacket, you fucking zilch? Dude, I had a stomach ache. I was laughing so hard.
I will have one the rest of the day because that'll never leave me. Like, because there's no like other level smash put down. Zilch.
You fucking zilch. What
Jesus
size?
Christ, what fucking size is that jacket, you zilch?
Jesus Christ, what size is that jacket, you fucking zilch?
Yeah.
He put fucking in front of zilch, which made it like
Way better.
so much worse. Like, yeah, better, but
You
worse for
fucking
him.
zilch.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. Wow. Words. You and I will bug out on this.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions from our live audience there, Corey? Are you running the social here? Corey Fry on Twitter is at Courtney. So just ask Courtney a lot of questions. You had a band, Pilot in Disguise. Salsa Windfall was one of your tunes, I
That was
believe.
Salsa Windfall was the band, and we had a song called Pilot in Disguise. That was my.
You might want to go back and look at that because I think you had it backwards. Demon Riot,
Demon
you're
Riot.
also like a magician your whole life.
No, I wasn't.
Musician. You know what?
Yeah.
Mushrooms are kicking in, Sammy. I appreciate that because we're almost done. Because you're like, you'll be good.
It's strictly a hobby, but at this point. But yeah, I played music before I did comedy.
And what did you play?
I played drums. In fact, I just got a new drum kit, and that's been fun playing again. And I did a lot of.
Not for the neighbors.
Well, I got an electronic one, dude. It's all headphones, and it's amazing. It's the most amazing thing I've ever
Favorite
bought.
3 drummers.
Neil Peart, Dave Grohl, Mike Borden.
Mike Borden, I don't hear enough. Grohl, I'm surprised to hear in there.
Grohl is.
He hits hard. He was with Tom Petty on Saturday Night Live. I don't know what happened with Tom Petty's drummer, but he filled in, and it was, you don't know how it feels. My old man was born to rock, and
Yeah.
it's just dun dun dun, and I thought the fucking kit was gonna come apart. It was just bow bow bow,
Yeah.
and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, he hits really, really fucking hard. But I mean, what I love about Grohl is like, I've just never heard such precise rhythm in my life. He's like a drum machine.
Ringo.
It just I don't know enough Ringo.
Well, he's in the Beatles.
No. I know.
When they break out,
I'm saying the drums in the Beatles' music aren't present in the way the drums in Dave Grohl's music are present. Like they're so in your face.
Are a band from before you were born, and I guess if they were alive today, they'd be called dead.
everybody's Bill Burr, it's Ringo and Bonham, Bonham and Ringo, Steve Gorman, Bonham. They all say Bonham, Ringo, Bonham, Ringo, Bonham, Ringo. And I was asking Steve Gorman, drummer for the Black Crowes, I'm like, Ringo sucks.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he's fine, but like.
Every drummer says Ringo second after
And why?
King of Swing. That's what it goes. He's just the king of swing, man. And then I said to him once, this shit's been going on for like 3 years with Steve Gorman, and he goes, "Who's the best comic, period, ever?" I go, "George Carlin." He goes, "All right. What if a drummer was trying to convince you George Carlin is not the best comic?" And I went, "I'm done talking about it too."
Look.
That was the best thing I ever heard.
This is what a pig I am. I would argue that. I think you could quantify or qualify Carlin and his skills as a comedian, whether you're a comedian or not, way, way, way more easily and convincingly than you could Ringo Starr's drumming. I
agree, but
name one song where Ringo Starr does a thing in it where you go, wow.
I can, not off the top of my head because I'm thinking of other things, but when I listen, since Gorman told me that, I'm noticing real insidious, odd. It's like Charlie Watts in Shattered. It's just it's so straightforward and linear, and then in the middle it's just this one hi-hat. In the middle of fucking Shattered, I'm in tatters. And you're like, what the like? Why there?
Right.
Because that's where it goes.
Yeah. All right.
So you don't like Ringo?
I don't like the Beatles, and I will.
This has been the Kevin Pollak Show. Like, you can't say things like that because it's absurd.
Here's why I can say
There's too much catalog to just go, I don't like it.
Here's why I can say it.
Hey, I don't like Italians, bro.
Here's why. In this day and age.
Hey, Joe DiMaggio was Italian. All right, then he's all right.
No. Here's what I can say. I have tried over and over again. I respect them tremendously. I recognize that they are a great band. It's not for me. I don't care for the music. I don't enjoy listening to it. And I've tried and I've tried and I've tried.
Well, you like fucking Three Doors Down is your favorite band.
No, don't you say that.
Foo Fighters?
They're okay,
Who are your favorite bands?
Favorite bands?
That's what
Motorhead.
Well, first of all, fantastic. Slim Jim Phantom, the drummer for the Stray Cats.
Oh, okay.
Introduced Lemmy to Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh,
and
wow.
in Slim Jim Phantom's book, you got to see Lemmy not be Lemmy. He was a child.
Wow.
Because there's only one king.
That's
There's only
really
one
cool.
killer.
That's really cool.
And he was like, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Fucking Lemmy.
Yeah.
Whacked out on mescaline, like.
That's really cool.
Motorhead's one of your favorite bands?
Absolutely. Motorhead, Bad Religion, Zappa, Spoon.
Don't go Brooks Wheeling on me and be the hippest fucking guy in
No,
town.
I'm not. Faith No More.
Okay.
I like a lot of different bands. I mean, I'm not even counting.
I like Bad Religion. I think they're very underrated.
I think they're a phenomenal band, and they changed the face of punk music as we know it. But
That's not true.
it's absolutely true.
I can name 4 bands that obliterated Bad Religion.
But did they change the face of punk as we know it? And I can
Bad
tell
Brains
you,
did.
Bad
They were
Brains,
Rastas.
Bad Brains, yes.
Okay. Black Flag did.
Black Flag, yes.
Dead Kennedys did.
Okay, yes.
TSOL, I'll go fucking deep.
Also, look, I love all those bands, and they were all innovators.
No, I'm saying changing punk.
Bad Religion added melody in a way to punk music
And
where it had never
Miss
been added
Melody
before.
as a lesbian.
Huh?
What?
They brought melody in a way that it hadn't been done before. So I'm just saying.
I will say they are very melodic for a punk band.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You and me got a disease.
Yeah.
I'm afflicted. You're
infected.
all
I'm
right.
infected.
Not bad. I haven't heard it in fucking 20 years.
That's fine.
Punk bands, anybody? For $500. Punk band. There you go.
Folks.
I will say the Germs. What? Just one flash in the pan and Darby, and you're going, what the fuck just happened?
I like the stuff. Who's the? So there's Pat Smear. Who's the other guy?
Chris Darby.
I like the solo, the post-germ stuff that those guys do a little bit more.
Well, because he died.
Well,
As Albert Brooke would say, I don't want to die in my punk band. I can't die.
didn't he do solo records though before he died? Or am I thinking of Pat Smear?
I don't know what Pat Smear did solo, except walk around Greenblatt's Deli, and you're like, that's the guy, but he's just hanging out. It's weird.
At Greenblatt's?
Yeah, but at Laugh Factory?
Yeah.
He's like Rich Hall, the Wanderer, the SNL sketch where he just shows up in sketches.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Remember that at all?
That's hilarious.
Is this a question from okay, Scott Burris wants to know about comics from Red Eye. That's the coffee order I take. 2 shots. That's a show, Red Eye?
Yeah, it's on Fox News.
Okay. My life is an errant venture. So Scott, 2 different questions. Scott Burris wants to know about comics from Red Eye. It's a very open-ended question.
That's the whole question?
Corey, is that the entire one?
Yeah, just wants to know about
I'll quantify Scott. Thank you, Scott Burris. Is it fun going on Fox to talk, I'm guessing, political stuff with other comics?
I haven't done it in many years, but it's fun until the fucking internet starts, sending you
Stop.
hatred because.
Stop. Stop.
No, I'm telling you. I'm
No,
telling you.
I know you're telling me. Greg Proops told me if you look yourself up on the internet, you deserve every fucking sentence.
No.
you read.
It's not looking yourself up. It's
Right. You were at ESPN.com getting the Lakers score, and you went, "What the
No.
fuck? Why is Luke Walton shitting on me?"
You get emails in your inbox. You see them. It's not. You're not going. Let me Google things people are saying. You go.
You have their email address,
Yeah.
and you just send them dick pictures the rest of their lives.
I listen. I'm speaking to the time I
know
did it
Bailey
years
J?
ago. I enjoyed the debate part of it, but I didn't enjoy the scolding part of it.
Yeah.
That got annoying for saying things like, "I don't believe in God," and then having people yell at me about that. And then also
Hold on,
sometimes.
if I say I have faith and I believe in a higher power, then it's like 4 days of fucking atheists just taking a bat.
Well,
to
no,
the
that
skull.
sucks too. And I would never mock you for that, just as I wouldn't want to be mocked for my belief.
It's mine. It's my fucking
Right.
belief, and I don't know why it bothers everybody else. I would think doing politics with comedians would be like, this is fun.
Well-
holy shit, Artie Fuqua is still talking about Joe Biden's middle class record. in
It
Delaware.
wasn't all. It wasn't all comedians. You'd be one comedian at that time. You'd be one comedian, and then everybody else would be. I was on with Ann Coulter many times.
So do you admit Joe Burris's question is inaccurate? How do you feel about all the comics that you only worked with? Here's a question.
I think he's saying he wants like some kind of inside backstage
he
stories.
wants you to talk shit about somebody.
Yeah, I don't know. They were all fun, I guess.
If, and that wasn't your intent, then I apologize. We're just sensitive guys. My life is an errant venture. Actual name.
That's his handle?
No, that's his actual name.
Oh,
my
yeah.
life is no. He's Russian.
Oh, boy.
My life is an adventure. Wants to know what you do when you see someone doing a bit that's similar to something you've been working out. Do you put it to bed or keep it and do it anyway? And I got Diane Hardwood on deck.
If it's something I'm deeply connected to, I will keep it and then change it in any way I feel necessary. If it's something that I go,
Are you changing it? And I'm interrupting on purpose because these are important. What you say is important to me.
Sure.
And it resonates. Are you changing it because you want to walk it away, the similarities from what that person is saying on stage?
Yeah, that's what I mean by that. If I go, I really love this premise, but I realize my observation in this particular area of the premise isn't that original because I just heard another person say it.
Because it was more original.
Yeah, I go, okay, well then I'm gonna steer it, I'm gonna figure out a different angle then.
Or put it down like he's asking.
Yeah, or just get rid of it and go, that's stupid.
I've finally got to the point where people go like, somebody's got a bit like that, and I go, great, because I thought of it, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean it's.
We never seek headliners.
But again, this is another. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier. With
I don't remember.
With taking time, when you churn out a product so quickly, that means you're also not vetting it as much as you should be. Like I always think you should take your bits around and see what other people are doing and see if they're different. And
Why would you want to see what other people are doing? If you're Don Mattingly with you know what I like about that reference, Joe? Timely. This guy's been in baseball since JFK's brains were on the back of a trunk. All right, don't get all uncomfortable. If you are a batting champion, you're Jose Altuve from the Astros, you're not going to go around the league and say how other guys are fucking batting stances. When you play golf, you don't look how other guys swing. It's going to fuck you up. You're doing your thing.
I'm not saying, I don't mean it like you need to.
You don't know what you said. What the? He's a big boy, Anthony. What did he say? What the fuck?
I don't mean it like you need to see the styles and whatever and the approach and whatever. I think though it is important to be aware of what other people are talking about on stage, so you can say, oh, my brilliant bit about how it's Pop-Tarts are too hard to open isn't a fucking original bit because 6 other guys are doing it.
Yeah, and for the record, that is a known hacky thing.
Yeah.
So I don't want people to think like you had one and you tapped out of a fucking shit bit about Pop-Tarts.
Wait, is that? Because I thought I just came up with a great premise.
Just go with it. We'll edit it out later. I feel 180 degrees different from you.
Really?
Because if I thought of it and I got that passion, that fire, and I can't wait to go do it, and I'm going to Denver this weekend, and I do it in Denver, all I know is the premise and what I think is funny about it, and that's what I bring on stage with me, and you just build your wings on the way up the cliff. So if I'm going around, I see other guys doing it, I can only talk myself out of what gave me passion.
Well, I would say this. I think those bits that you're talking about that you feel very passionate about are rarely bits that other people are doing.
Well, yeah, I'm telling stories about,
yeah,
me wetting my son's bed.
Exactly. It's something from your life, But we also, as comics, write jokes where you go, oh, that's kind of funny that, like, they do that on the news. And you go, all right, I'll try that out. And then you go, oh, somebody else.
So you're aware of it. I like the radar up. We're rounding third here, friends. They lose the theater at 2 because we have coming in next a one-man show. My mom's Jewish, my dad's Italian, and I'm in therapy.
For those of you at home, that's a real show.
In Manhattan.
Yeah, that's a real
and
show.
It's been running since the 80s.
My mom told me once that she wanted to go see that with me, and I almost yelled at her. It made me so angry.
Why did you yelled at her? You're quick to yell.
I'm quick to yell.
Diane, my love, how are you? Why am I shouting? Because I'm excited. Diane Harwood, Northern California, wants to know who you want to work with that you haven't worked with. I like this because she didn't say acting, singing in your bad bands. Your merch, like you could work at merch with anybody. You know what? I'm gonna do some merch next to Kevin Hart's guy is probably good. Come on out, Joe DeRosa, come on.
Who do I want to work with that I haven't worked with?
Let's do as an.
Oh, the guys from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Even Charlie Day. Because he'll out yell you.
Yeah, we both.
Every line I say in Horrible Bosses, I'm screaming it.
He's
if
funny.
Somebody else. He is fucking hilarious.
That whole crew, Caitlin Olsen, Rob McElhaney, Glenn Howerton, Charlie Day, Danny DeVito, that whole crew.
If you want to get on the show.
That's what I'm trying to do right now, Jay.
When you said Caitlin, I got a little bit of a boner, and if you said Jenner, I was just going to jack off on the table.
Why not?
Because she looks like Jessica Lange.
No, I said why not?
Why not now?
Yeah.
It's because I tipped my hand.
Hey,
one more question.
No pun intended.
No, hey, you know what I mean? Grant 101 wants to know who gave you the best advice, Joe DeRosa. Joe DeRosa? Should I do this as a, let's see. I'll do this as Russell. Joe, there's a man on the interweb, Grant 101. That's an odd last name, isn't it? It's a number, he's numerical. I'd like to meet the first 100 Grants. It's not 100. I hate myself. What's the greatest?
It's a tie.
What's the best? What?
It's a tie. The best advice.
Okay.
The first is Patton Oswalt told me once. Never do a bit where you're just agreeing with yourself. He said the best bits are the ones where you discover something. So instead of being up on stage saying, and this was the premise I ran by him, that it was when all those love shows were on, the dating shows, like Rock of Love, Flavor of Love, where they were just lining.
Celebrity Finger My Sister.
Yeah, exactly. And these shows were just.
Did I make that up? That was a show, right?
They would line up this train of disgusting women in front of one disgusting man, and then it was just all the grossest people on earth together under one roof. And so I said to Patton, is it a funny bit that if I do that, if you're ever on one of those shows, you're a terrible person, something like that, I forget. And then he goes, all you're doing is agreeing with yourself. You know you don't approve of those people. He goes, this is how I would do it. And in 2 seconds wrote a bit 10 times better than mine was ever going to be. He goes,
you can't do it because he wrote.
Yeah, I know, so I never did it. But he goes, this is how I would do it. All those shows put the most disgusting people on TV, which made me upset. But then I realized we need to be thanking them because they're showing us who to not reproduce with. And I was like,
and taking them out of the gene pool for us.
Yeah.
They're on TV.
So that's when I started to go, okay, I know what I think, but why do I think it? And
I disagree with Patton because I think the fault in this is you asking Patton or anybody, is this funny? Because if you thought of it to share it, your compass, Joe, it's funny.
Sure.
So the audience also sometimes, even if you're agreeing with yourself, in my opinion, which nobody asked for, but that's why I'm guest hosting. Ken Griffey Jr. I don't know why I said that. If you think of it, you're done.
Well, he didn't say the premise wasn't funny.
But you don't have to agree with yourself. The audience at some time needs to go, thank you. George Carlin walked out and goes, fuck Lance Armstrong. He's agreeing with himself.
Right.
The audience goes, okay, finally, yeah. Fuck this guy, his one ball, his yellow shirt, and his bike.
Right.
So that's all Carlin was doing. What does
Right.
Patton Oswalt know about comedy?
Yeah.
Except being brilliant all
And,
the
well,
time.
well,
You fucking magical man, you.
And here's the thing, it's not like Patton only does jokes where he's discovering something.
I'll have all the ham.
It's just, it's that idea of you can figure something out in the middle of the bit
Yeah.
and go the other way. He's still agreeing with himself. He's just saying, here's the twist. And it added a thing to my development process.
Diane
that I never
Harwood, best
thought of.
question of the day. She's going to get a Hey Man t-shirt. It's from jaymohr.com. What was the other best advice?
To Ray Gordon, who's a great comedian.
What's his name?
To Ray Gordon. To Ray Gordon, who's a great
White
comedian. Yeah. And I started in an all-black club in Philly called the Laugh House. He mentored me. He was amazing. He still is. He's hilarious. And he took me on a road. The first time he ever took me on the road with him, I went on stage. There were 7 people at one of the shows. I bombed. I got off stage. He goes, "You abandoned your material, man." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You went up there. You abandoned your material. Why'd you do that?" And I go, "Well, dude, there were 7 people there." He goes, "So?" And I go, "Yeah, dude. I mean, I get what you're saying, but that
You're
doesn't."
arguing.
Yeah, I'm
with
arguing.
the guy, you're under his wing going, you know what? I know me.
This is what I mean. I didn't know how to tell
Amazing,
myself
yeah.
to shut the fuck up. So he goes, I go, "Too, I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's applicable all the time. Like, for instance, what if Sam Kinison came in and there were 7 people? What are you supposed to scream, do all your screaming?" And he goes, "What do you think Sam Kinison would do?" And I was like, "Oh, he would scream."
And you've applied that advice.
The screaming part.
No, the 7 people. I did a show
Yeah.
at Nerd Melt, and the guy was calling me, was Beowulf, I believe? And he goes, "We didn't advertise that well. It was only like 7 people." And I go, "Those are the best kind." He goes, "You're coming?" I'm like, "I agreed to do a show with you."
Right.
I'm not like, "Hey man, if it ain't 150
Right.
for my $40.
Yeah.
So then when you do a show for 7 people, your quote unquote material becomes like you and I are talking right now.
Right.
And you go, "You know what else I noticed?" And the person leans forward,
Right.
and it's a whole different skill set exercise.
Oh, dude, the best training I ever got in my life was last year when I did the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. I had to do 30 almost consecutive nights of my hour. And you had nights where it was full, and you had nights where there were literally 10 people there. And you had no opener. You had to come out on stage, sit down in a
Good.
chair,
Hate openers.
and do an hour in front of 10 people. And it was a hard out, too, because there were other shows on either end of you.
I would say that made you stronger than anything in your life.
100%.
Buddy Hackett said to me,
That guy you made fun of because he was laughing, he had that real bizarre laugh, he sounded like a duck.
I go, "Yeah," and he goes,
Kid, don't ever make fun of somebody that's having joy.
"Last
Oh,
night I did this corporate show in New Orleans. They're fucking hammered.
Uh-huh.
And like guys are standing up. Will you guys follow me with the camera? Am I getting a shot? I'm new here." He just stands up and goes, "I tell you, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great," and I want to go, "Hey, sit the fuck down, stupid." But I got Hackett in my head. I go, "You're doing a great job. Standing up, holding that paper cup filled with whatever moon juice you got, buddy. And I love you. Sit down. I don't want you to get thrown out, okay?" And then you don't lose anybody that way.
yeah, no.
Joe DeRosa, I need you to look into, the special is called with a Y.
You Let Me Down, February 3rd at midnight on Comedy Central, uncensored. February 5th is the replay at 1 a.m., uncensored, Comedy Central.
We'll
and then
tweet
the
that
album
out.
comes out, I think, February 7th.
All he does is release albums.
Okay.
He did the Off-White album at Dennis Miller's.
Did you call it You Let Me Down because that's how the industry feels after you perform?
I stink, I hate me, and my wife doesn't like me. She's dodging me.
I need you to look into this camera, Joe DeRosa, who is one of my best friends in show business and in real life. If you can get a 48-hour tattoo, 48 hours it lasts, and then it goes away, what would you get?
Cunt.
Where?
Right across my forehead.
I like that. Finally.
Just to see what would happen.
Corey, how many people like pussyfooted that answer in fake money? They're like, "Well, I'd probably get my other one." I'm like, "Bro,
Just to see what the fuck would happen.
swastikas, 88s all over my fucking body, and I'm going to Starbucks. What's your name?" And I'm gonna go, "Tyrone." Thank you. All right, you're gonna have to look into this camera here. Where's my camera?
You know what a great old school showbiz response to that should be?
Here comes the improv group, so you better hurry. Mental floss.
Say it really quick. Say, where's my camera?
Where's my camera?
Baby, They're all your camera.
I understand that, but there's 4 of them.
That would have been that should have been what those guys used to. Anyway, sorry. All right, go ahead.
I could do that all day.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna look into your camera, Bubby. I need you to do a terrible, or not a good Larry King impression. As if you are Larry King now, in the moment on the Larry King Show. That's the camera, and you're going to say something about yourself, and you're going to reveal something about yourself. Take a call, whatever it is, and just do it. Do you understand Larry King went up? Am I explaining as well?
I understand the Larry
Who has
King.
a more concise explanation? Quick.
What's the reveal part? I don't get.
We are the only ones here.
Reveal something embarrassing about yourself.
Oh, embarrassing.
Oh, good, buddy.
Like that. Then choose a city.
All right, so like so-and-so from wherever, and then you go to take the call, and before they speak, you just do something embarrassing about yourself, but it can't be a good Larry King impression.
Okay. Okay.
I can't look at you start laughing.
You're watching Larry King now. We're going to the phones to talk to Jay from Calabasas. I was in a restaurant the other night with my friends Guy Branham and Karen Kilgariff eating sushi, and I almost shit my pants, and it took me so long to go upstairs and shit in the bathroom, I lied and said I had to take an elevator to get to the bathroom so it wouldn't look weird when I came back after 20 minutes. Jay.
Hey, I wanted to know, speaking... Joe DeRosa, the album is, the special is the 4th of February, the 3rd of February.
And the 5th.
Buddy,
I love you. Thank you for this.
No room for improvement here. That was 10 ounces of water in an 8-ounce glass.
So fun. And Kevin Pollak, thank you. Thank you for...
We'll see if he comes back first. I gotta make another movie with Jack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Kevin Pollak, thank you very much for letting me guest host this. I love this podcast, and you got really great people working for you, Kevin. This is my message to you, for real. Everybody here is kind and good inside. Love wins, baby.
Oh, it's so great.
Credits are about to roll here.
Yes. I'm done.
It's supposed to freeze, dummy.
Oh.
High five, and then credits roll, okay? Credits are gonna roll, right? As soon as we high five. I know, man, that was the best.